After parting with Hanamura, I once again proceed through the school. The invisible walls continue to bar my path. Undoubtedly, the enemy is leading me exactly where he wants me.
Is there no end to this?
The rules of the P1 Grand Prix are powerfully enforced. I tried to see if I could destroy one of these walls, but it doesn't seem as though I can. Maybe if I used all my strength, but in that case, I'd be at a disadvantage in my next fight. Either way, it didn't seem worth the trouble. I stray from the suggested route on purpose and opened one of the classroom doors. I sense no enemies here, and it doesn't look likely that I'll run into my next opponent here either. It should be safe here. Once again, I link my communicator with my persona. This time, unlike before, my senses cleanly and smoothly spread outward. I sense two familiar reactions.
Akihiko and Aigis. They both seem to be okay.
First, I focus on my senses to contact with Aigis, who was closer by.
Can you hear me, Aigis?
Mitsuru-san, I am relieved to finally hear from you. Is Akihiko-san with you?
No, we were separated, but I've confirmed his safety. I'm sure he won't be defeated that easily.
Aigis laughs upon hearing my words.
Let's exchange information while we can.
I give her a simple outline of the current situation. I mentioned the students that were drawn here. My suspicions that this Grand Prix's mastermind is almost certainly related to Labris. And what I've heard of a girl whom I'm assuming to be Labris.
I saw that girl a moment ago, though I lost sight of her when the invisible walls blocked my path.
I've been told she looks more human than you. Is that possible?
Not only that, she was almost indistinguishable from a normal person. I couldn't believe it either. Yet I definitely sensed a personality module. I don't believe there's any mistake that she is Labris.
I see.
There's no doubt that General Teddy has strong ties to Labris and the Kirijo group. But this girl whom we believe to be Labris is apparently walking around unconstrained. If he can set up this many walls, it should be easy for him to capture her too.
Don't worry about meeting up for now. Under the present conditions, we'd only end up fighting amongst ourselves.
Understood.
I don't know how Labris ties into this situation yet, but be careful. Hello? I lost her.
Aigis' voice trails off as my connection to her dies out again. I wonder if the enemy noticed our conversation and took preventative measures. Though the voice I'm hearing now definitely isn't General Teddy's.
Ain't there some other way? If there was, then...
That's the same voice from before. Labris, is that you?
It's happening again. The voice reaches me through my persona ability, but I have the strangest sensation about it. I get the impression that the voice is seeping out of this place itself.
Why are you laughing? What about this is funny?
Who is she addressing?
I don't want to fight him anymore!
That reminds me. Hanamura said that the environments here are formed by the thoughts of those who enter this world. Could these be Labris' innermost thoughts? Is that why everything about this place radiates her feelings?
What do you think we are?
For a moment, I experienced not just the voice, but a powerful wave of emotions. They bombard me through my persona's senses. A strong sadness, confusion, despair. I can't help but fall to my knees, though nothing is assaulting me directly. How can I describe this weight? One possible explanation crosses my mind.
She's not addressing anyone. These are her memories. I see. So that's what's going on.
I think back to what Gerald Teddy said, that making people suffer is fun. I dismissed it as a barbaric desire not worth thinking about too deeply. But in truth, what kind of horrors would someone have to go through to emerge with such a stunted perspective?
I'm finally beginning to see the relationship between this tournament and Labris.
In any case, I must proceed on to learn anything. I redouble my resolve and begin walking again. Well, the classroom had nothing in it. That's a rarity. Well, still in the classroom apparently. The monitor suddenly turns on, showing a smirking Gerald Teddy.
What are you getting so sentimental for? The Grand Prix's not over yet!
Then you intend to continue this meaningless farce.
I'll decide what's meaningless or not! Bring out the next challenger!
As soon as the general shouts, smoke gushes out, obstructing my view. It seems he isn't willing to listen to reason at all. Not that I expected otherwise. Who will I be forced to fight this time? I strain my eyes, but to see through the smoke. It looks like it's
You?
Naoto. I remember that face. Naoto Shirogane. He was present as a police observer when Labris was being transported to Yakushima. It was thanks to his quick thinking that we discovered Labris had been taken into Inaba. If our trip hadn't been disrupted by the hijacking, he might still be with us in Yakushima. But why is he here?
This is a problem. I didn't think we'd run into each other so soon. Is this another illusion? No. I can see that it isn't. Why are you here?
Man, you were really whispering there.
I'll answer that question later. It would be best to say as little as possible for now.
With that, the young man lifts a finger to his lips and gestures in a gesture to remain silent. Directly afterwards, that staticky sensation runs through my body. It's then that I understand what he meant. Once again, this noise will prevent us from understanding each other properly. He's probably also noticed the effect at work. Nothing we say right now could be called conversing. If we both understand that, neither of us need to take what the other says personally. That's why he called for temporary silence. It's an amazing assessment, given the brief time in which he had to make it. Before long, as expected, the young man before me undergoes a complete attitude reversal.
Seriously, such impatience handling the grunt work yourself like this. Isn't micromanaging like this the style of an incompetent leader? One who can't see the bigger picture?
This isn't how he truly feels. I say nothing.
The silent treatment, huh? That's fine. I understand perfectly. You don't believe in people. Not a single one. You have friends and allies, but believing in them is a different thing. I suspect you'll never break down that wall.
Aren't you talking about yourself too, Naoto?
Shall I say it for you? You're actually scared to.
Not that Naoto's actually saying it, but what, are Naoto and Mitsuru supposed to be very similar in their personalities or something? I don't know.
The notion of growing attached to something and losing it scares you so much that you'll share nothing truly important to you. Even if you want to believe in your friends, you can't. That's not true.
After the words slipped from my mouth, I realized that the argument is futile.
Of course it is. Why not simply admit it? In truth, you have your hands full just expiating your family's sins. You don't need the added burden of others placing their lives in your hands. Isn't that how you really feel? No.
The young man smirked, as if ridiculing my inability to stop myself from responding to his allegations, despite knowing the futility of doing so. But the smirk only helps me to regain my composure. The real Shirogane would never make that face. This is only an illusion.
There's no use continuing this. Not until I eliminate this irritating mirage.
Irritating, eh? Well, I guess. No matter how much they understand what it is, they still seem to get grated by the idea of someone mocking them. I guess you can only take so much verbal abuse, perhaps. Most people can. Me, I just shut myself off to the world and play video games. Have I said too much about myself? Nah, I'm whatever. No one cares. Anyway, Naoto, you got a gun. And very poor range compared to Mitsuru. Oh, how'd you do that, I wonder? Of course, you're the AI. Of course you can do that, though. I forgot to do the all-out there. Oh, well. Man, Naoto keeps getting out of my view. Huh, that's an interesting move. Oh. Okay, good. Haha, your short range defeated you there, Naoto. A kick to the abdomen. Is this all original music, or is this based off of music from the games? I think some of them are supposed to be original tunes. Most of the music from the games is in the cutscenes portions. Except for one song from Mitsuru I never heard. I turned towards the monitor on the assumption that General Teddy will appear to mock us. But for some reason, this time he doesn't. I'm not sure why, but it at least allows us time to calmly talk things over. I look towards the young man once again.
Am I getting through to you now? Yes. The same goes for me, I presume. It seems we were spellbound until the fight began, as we both suspected. They disrupted our communications to drive a wedge between us and make us fight, though it's a mystery to me as to where it draws such personal slights for the illusions before us. I agree.
He seems to bear no animosity and is willing to discuss things, but to be honest, I'm not sure where we stand. Why is he here? I can think of several possible explanations, but if he secretly followed us in, his caniness may prove dangerous. Or caniness. Whatever. He gives a sunrise smile, as if sensing my reluctance and trying to assuage it.
There's no need to be cagey. I don't intend to dodge whatever questions you have. You were probably wondering 3 things when you saw me here. First, how did I enter this world? Second, what am I doing in Inaba? And third, if I came here looking for you, what are my true intentions? No wonder you've made a name for yourself as a detective. You're correct on all counts. The first answer is easy. You know now that I can use a persona, allowing me access to the TV world. As for the second, there's no great mystery why I would come to Inaba. I live here.
You wouldn't happen to be acquainted with Amagi and Hanamura.
You've met my senpai?
Your friends. I gather that you're comrades who fought alongside each other during the serial murder case last year. I assume you entered the TV together for the same reason they did, and found yourself dragged into this mess as well.
Whatever doubts I may have about them, it seems they're here because we dragged them into this. I'm not very comfortable with that.
If so, I must apologize to you. No doubt you already know, but the object we seek has been brought to this world. It's most likely the cause of this disturbance. Whoever learned of this world's existence must have thought it would be useful in whatever they're scheming.
You apologizing to me?
Shirogane shrugs with a wry smile.
Are you so sure you can trust me? You have no guarantee that I'm telling the truth. And there's still the answer to your third question to consider. I haven't yet told you my true motives.
Fair enough. But if you're friends with Amagi and Hanamura, I feel I can trust you. Their bonds with their friends are real.
Perhaps I lied about that too.
But then why would you bring it up? No, you're no villain. That's what my intuition tells me.
You aren't at all the person I thought you'd be.
I'll take that as a compliment.
His smile suggests that it was meant as one. It makes him look his age, or even younger. I can't help but smile myself at the idea that he's not exactly the hardened detective I'd imagined him to be.
The Teddy who appeared on that monitor is not our friend. He's an imposter.
You have proof of this?
I found the real Teddy. Our enemy can fog both our eyes and ears. It's possible they can make themselves look like someone else.
I see.
But I still don't know why they chose to take on Teddy's appearance.
Upon hearing this, I sigh and close my eyes.
It might be to make you all suffer. If they led you to believe your friend betrayed you, it would make this all the more painful.
There's some truth to that, but it seems too simple a motive to warrant this elaborate of a disturbance.
He's wrong. If the motive is somehow connected to Labrys' memories, what had been incomprehensible becomes completely understandable. My conclusion must have shown through on my face, since Shirogane trails off in understanding. At that moment came something like a touch. It's a sensation I hadn't felt since entering this world, but I know this feeling. It's the effect of being brushed by a persona's informational support powers.
This feeling. Rise-san! Rise-san, can you hear me?
So you ended up here too!
That voice that echoes is much like the voice I heard over the PA system, but seems quite different. The announcements must have been a part of the culprit's tricks. This Rise's voice immediately turns quavery.
I'm so glad. Ever since this weird fake Teddy kidnapped me, I've been all alone. The others are fighting each other too.
It's all right. Just calm down and tell me where you are.
I think it's the announcement room. It's kind of off though. There are these invisible walls around and I can't get out. The fake Teddy was watching me until a moment ago, so I couldn't use my persona.
She seems to have been under the General's close watch, limiting her chances to use her persona until now. As soon as the General stepped out for a moment, she seized the opportunity to contact Shirogane.
You're in the announcement room now, yes? I'm headed straight there, so stay put.
Huh? Who's that? Why can I hear your voice but not sense you?
She sounds extremely confused. I had temporarily forgotten that my equipment prevents me from being detected by persona abilities to an extent. I prepared it after facing an enemy with similar powers once before. It works by making my presence difficult to detect unless they know me well and recognize my signature. Shirogane senses her confusion as well and introduces me to her. His introduction is accurate, yet concise. I can see he's a first-rate detective.
Mitsuru Kirijo. Wait, Kirijo? Are you that Kirijo?
Isn't it kind of funny how no one here has heard of Rise, though? the famous idol. No one's gonna bring that up. Only the people in Inaba knew her. I guess, I figured maybe Akihiko would, or even Mitsuru, they might have heard about her. Aigis, nah, unless Aigis is the one who has heard about her, oddly.
Yes, that's correct.
The CEO?
Not quite. I am the founding family's...
You hired me for a commercial before. Oh, good. Thank you very much for your patronage.
Oh, look, now we have a connection.
A commercial?
Oh, yes. I'm Rise Kuchikawa. I'm a classmate of the others you met, but I'm also kind of a starlet, and, it's hard to explain.
Rise-san, that can wait. There's no knowing when our adversary will return.
Oh, all right.
Kujikawa said that she was captured, but why would they treat her differently?
I suspect it was to block communication. If we could speak freely as we just did, their whole scheme would collapse. Ah, so that's why Teddy and Rise-san were the hosts.
What do you mean?
The real Teddy has a similar power. That's why those two were taken separately. Not only that, but by acting as the two who had disappeared, the enemy thought it could portray them as traitors. Though it appears that Teddy managed to escape on his own somehow.
How come I'm the only one fake Teddy is watching over personally? Sheesh.
You have the most powerful investigative persona. They must have had to take greater pains with you.
I think we're keeping this going too long. We've exchanged what we know already, so I'm gonna shut down the comms link. Be careful, you guys.
I faced Shirogane once again.
We are responsible for this case. Rescuing the ones who've been dragged into it is part of our mission. Besides, she's another of your friends, isn't she? All the more reason for me to go save her.
He makes a small gesture as if searching for the right words. After taking some time to make up his mind, he looks me in the eye once more.
You're quite prepared for this. It would be unfair of me not to tell you everything. Please hear me out. The reason I came here was to...
You're a real straight arrow.
I cut him off intentionally.
You're very proud to be a detective, no? I can see it in your eyes. You would never sell out your beloved justice. If you've done nothing to be ashamed of, that makes us even. I haven't been entirely forthright with you either.
Kirijo-san. It seems I still have much to learn.
Despite what I said, I can make an educated guess as to his motives. He's a persona user. That means the police selected as their observer someone with the potential. If his only task was to watch over the transfer, there'd be no need to send a persona user, leading me to believe that he's been asked to secretly spy on me, or my organization. But we have nothing to hide anymore. There are many things that shouldn't be made public, but I'm sure his judgment is sound.
Well then, I will once again entrust my friend's safety and the resolution of this case to you, in honor of the bond we are forming, Mitsuru Kirijo.
I promise that I will not let you down.
I smile back at him and move on without looking back. I know that there is someone up ahead I must atone for. There is no hesitation in my steps. Nice little friendship going on there. By the way, that dude's a chick. As opposed to being the chick being the dude. Because there's some movie called The Crying Game or something. Oh, it's some Simpsons thing I remember. Something about the mayor trying to change the subject by saying the chick in The Crying Game was really a dude. Not a movie, it's probably... Oh, it's a song. I'm going on a tangent right now. So let's get back to the wall of text. I reached the 3rd floor. After turning a corner and going on for a while, it finally comes into view. The announcement room. This is where Kujikawa is supposed to be. Man, we got here fast!
Are you Kirijo-san? Kirijo?
As I open the door, 2 students greet me. One of them is the voice I heard through my persona. Kujikawa, I presume. Now wait a minute, didn't I only have like 3 battles so far? Well, I guess 4 to 5 is the average, so maybe I'm just making assumptions. The other is a girl I don't see on the video.
Hang tight, Miss President. We'll be okay now that help's arrived. Kirijo-san, this girl got dragged into this mess too. We have to help her before that general comes back.
So you're Kujikawa. Sorry, but I'll need you to step back.
Huh?
I turned to face Miss President.
We meet at last. Astounding. You really do look human. But you're not, are you, Labris?
The girl jumps at hearing this. Kujikawa still looks unsure, but I can't drag her into this. I place myself between her and Labris.
Huh? What do you mean she's not human? Isn't she a victim who got dropped inside the TV?
Labras being a victim is one way to see it. But if what I've learned thus far is accurate, then the one who set up this Grand Prix is most likely...
Labras, our records show that you were loaded with special equipment, undoubtedly a function that affects thoughts and scrambles recognition. That's why we saw and heard illusions whenever we fought. It would also explain General Teddy's appearance, and those who met you believing you to be human.
Special equipment? Labras? What are you talking about?
Labras' protestations of ignorance sounds as if she's in denial about something. She already knows. It's tragic, hearing the desperation in her voice.
I'm sure the reason why you captured 2 people with analytical personas wasn't just to keep them from interfering with your designs. I came to a realization when I noticed I was the only one who sensed that noise. An analytical persona's searches clash with your ability. They dispel illusions, so you needed to confine them. You feared that if they caught you off guard and used their persona's ability, this would happen.
With that, I summon my persona Artemisia. Just as expected, noise immediately runs across Labras' body. Hey, Mitsuru's the one turning her into a robot. It's exactly the sensation I felt before each round in the tournament. Artemisia cancels out the force scrambling our senses, and the illusion begins to wear off. Little by little, the facade fades away, and her true appearance emerges.
No! What's going on? This can't be...
What was your motive, Labras? Was it revenge in the end? I can understand why you'd hold a grudge. I caught glimpses of it on my way here. But your hatred should be centered on the Kirijo group. Why drag innocent students into your vendetta?
Kirijo... group? No. I don't want to remember. Never again. Miss President, Kirijo-san, she seems to be in a lot of pain. I don't know exactly what's going on here, but you can't push her any further.
At that moment, Labras grabs the equipment on her back that I had mistaken for wings. It suddenly separates and transforms into a giant battle axe that's larger than she is.
Miss President?
Get back! Hurry!
Labras approaches one step at a time, her axe at the ready. Her steps are halting, but she's moving with battle clearly in mind.
The injunction against harming humans has been removed? I see. No wonder she was sealed away.
Behind me, I hear Kuichikawa pleading.
Is there no other choice but to fight?
I won't let you do any more damage, Labras. It's me you want.
Shut up! Shut up! I ain't like that!
Place a bookmark? In the announcement room? That's strange. What's gonna happen here now? Are we gonna fight Labras? Like actual Labras? We're fighting Labras. Now that's a first. Also, she has a... Oh, it's an activation date. Wow, I get to fight Labras. This is new. I wonder if she's actually like really good with her abilities or something. Man, I'm just spamming my sword right now. And also, she hasn't really done much against me. So far, she hasn't seemed to have done any damage against me. Bizarre. You think Labras will be the hardest one. Yasogami Steel Council President. Steel Council President. Get it? It's like a pun. Instead of school, it's steel. Because she's made of steel. Get it? Ha ha ha! No. I don't know. I was in the excitement of fighting Labras, actually. Which really was nothing. Labras remains still. I can't hear her muttered denials. Oh, I can hear her. I can hear. She didn't use a persona, but it's impossible that her mental instability prevented her from doing so. No, she's got to face it first. It might have been a blessing in disguise.
I don't intend to turn a blind eye to the sins committed against you. That is why I must bring you back.
Labras is the mastermind. Not only of this tournament, but maybe of the entire incident from the beginning. What if Labras was never stolen, but instead escaped? Considering her powers, is it possible that she deluded the ordinary human hijackers? There's no knowing when Labras regained her consciousness inside her cage. What if she hadn't awakened on opening it? What if she was already conscious inside there? She had been sealed for roughly 13 years. More than enough time to formulate a plan.
If that was indeed the case, it'd make more sense for this to be a plan devised by Labrys, rather than an unknown party suddenly stealing her away. I can't imagine how much resentment such a small, artificial body could hold. A tragic mastermind, huh?
Huh? Mastermind? You got it wrong, Kirijo-san! That girl's not...
Kuchikawa calls out from behind me. Just as she does so, I feel an imminent threat rushing toward my back.
What?
I turn around in surprise. It can't be.
Looks like you've saved me some time while I was out running errands.
You're...
Gerald Teddy gives an evil smirk. An extremely powerful version of the noise, far worse than before, is everywhere around us. Kuchikawa squats down while covering both her ears. It's all I can do to keep from falling to my own knees.
What's going on? This is Labrys' interference pattern.
Mm-hmm. That's right. As thanks for cornering the real one, I'll show you something.
They're not familiar with the whole thing of facing your shadow, though. That's the Persona 4 thing. The noise lifts once the mimicry is dispelled, but what it reveals is something I hadn't expected.
Another Labrys?
And it ends. It ends. Well, at 27 minutes, I might as well start Aigis' story.
Velvet Room.
And then, of course, Labrys will be the final one. And at 52% though, which means I have not completed everything at all. Does that include the bad ends too? I don't know. Or the funny ends, I guess. I call it bad one because it doesn't progress anything.
Are you awake?
I'm sorry. I had turned off my consciousness to test the new equipment installed on me.
Yes, that's why we use the emergency channel. We've been asked to go into action.
Sounds a lot like the you and Adachi voice.
Has something happened? Who sent the request?
We'll brief you on the details in transit. Also, regulations say that the member with the lowest serial number is in command. Currently, that's you.
I'm in command? Are you sure about this? After all, I'm...
You're well suited for it, in my opinion.
Understood.
May 1st, 2012, 9:30. Men equipped with assault suits and tactical vests line the concrete ground. Their urban camouflage and unmoving poses give them the appearance of an orderly line of rocks. 30 minutes have already passed since the special assault team took up positions near the passenger plane stopped on the landing strip. Their captain glares at the passenger plane before he slowly turns around and looks at each of his men. Every last one wears ski masks and thick tactical visors to mask their identities, but he knows them nonetheless.
Tell me about the situation and make it quick. We don't have much time.
One of the team steps forward next to him. The touchscreen tablet in his right hand has a summary of the case on it. On May 1st, 2012, at around 0900 hours, a wide-body passenger aircraft headed for Kagoshima sent out a 7500 squawk code during the passenger boarding. Following the signal, the captain reported to the control tower that their aircraft had been hijacked. Since the uprising occurred during passenger boarding, only half of the passengers, 868 exactly, had boarded. The 10 crew members bring it to a total of 178 hostages thought to be on board. Some passengers sitting near the hatch had succeeded in escaping. The following points were gained from questioning them. Take care not to be seen by the hijackers. There are 3 hijackers. All of them are covering their faces with ski masks. All of them are armed with what seem to be pistols. From their voices and builds, they appear to be males. They all spoke fluent Japanese. Currently, the aircraft in question has moved to the front of the landing strip at the hijackers' insistence and stopped there. The authorities have attempted to negotiate with the hijackers by radio, but they have made no demands. The team member finishes his report. The captain nods silently and addresses his team.
There hasn't been a plane hijacked in this country in over 10 years. None of us, not even me, have dealt with this before. Still, the procedure remains the same. Trust yourself, remember your training, and keep a cool head.
The captain turns toward the plane again. Taking that as a cue, the team scattered to their specified posts to take up positions. The only thing to do now is to see what happens. Eventually, 10 comes around. Half an hour has passed already with no new developments. Repeated attempts to raise the hijackers have been made, but they have yet to make any demands. Tensions are beginning to rise. The worst case there is that they have no need to make demands, that their objective is to seize the passenger plane itself. In this case, the team would be facing a large-scale terrorist attack.
Come on, talk to us.
The captain mutters to himself, deep in thought. From the perspective of rescuing the hostages, every second that passes without learning the hijackers' objectives is a second wasted. The captain and his team can wait in hiding, but the same is not true for the passengers on board. For untrained civilians, extreme stress can easily lead to physical and mental problems. It's true not only for the hostages, but for the hijackers as well. When people lose their nerve, they tend to act irrationally. The hostages will begin to lose hope, and the hijackers will begin taking it out on the hostages. An hour into the incident, anything could be happening inside the plane. The captain could do nothing but glare at as the time ticked by. After 50 more minutes had passed, a slight change to the situation was reported. All emails and calls going through stations near the airport are being checked. The details of the message thought to be from inside the plane are not confirmed. It appeared that the hijackers had confiscated all cellular phones, as per standard hijacking plans, but...
Sir, there's a report from HQ. They picked up a transmission from one of the passenger's cell phones. It's a smartphone with GPS, so they can tell it's inside the plane.
Confirm those details for me.
There are two possibilities. The hijackers are using a passenger's phone to contact associates outside, or that passenger is contacting someone in secret. The latter possibility is more likely. More and more devices have communication capabilities now, making it extremely difficult for hijackers to remove them entirely from plane. And the more hostages involved, the more courageous they become and the more likely they take risks. Unfortunately, more hostages involved means it's all the more dangerous to provoke the hijackers. Each individual hostage is worth less to them. The details of the transmission make it apparent that the situation is worse than the team had assumed. The cell phone's owner is a man in his 60s in first class. He signed up with a certain service after being diagnosed with heart illness. It's a remote EKG monitoring service that keeps track of the patient's heartbeat. A scheduled message was automatically sent from the patient's cell phone. The service provider promptly contacted the police, informing them that the man was in bad shape.
A man's life is at stake if we don't wrap this up within the hour. Looks like we can't stall for time.
As panic spreads, a proposal for negotiations based on this fact and a proposal to storm the plane are both considered. Sorry about my missteps in reading, but it's Friday and I'm kind of tired. I have to go back to work and all that usual excuses I make for all that crap. And I don't know, I feel like there's another reason I'm tripping over my words. I can't figure out what it is. But because only half the passengers had boarded, the situation inside the plane is uncertain, making devising a tactical plan difficult. Though if nothing is done, a passenger will surely succumb within the hour. A blur like that must be avoided at all costs. That was the thinking that guided the police officials to make their decision. Same day at 10:30.
What? Withdraw? This is a hijacking! What are you thinking withdrawing our people? Yes, I understand.
Wait, what's going on?
Orders are orders. We'll fall back at once. Get ready.
No one understood the sudden withdrawal order. Why withdraw the team during a hijacking? No one on the scene agreed with the decision, but the order could not be overturned. The men here are not the brain, but limbs, whose power is best put to use by precisely following orders. Just then, another group approaches without a sound. Its members are dressed differently, in suits and trench coats, but all of them wear black with sunglasses. At a glance, it is clear that they are tall, well-built, and used to rough situations. With nearly 20 of them gathered in one place, they are imposing despite their silence. They don't seem to be airport personnel, but neither are they known to the police. However, the captain senses a kindred spirit in them and approaches.
Who are you?
His voice is laced with suspicion. The man in black at the head of the group speaks dispassionately as if he'd heard nothing.
For the next half hour, we're in command of this scene.
MIB.
You didn't answer the question. Who's responsible for this?
The captain's tone unconsciously hardens. The group of men in black parts and one of their number in the rear steps forth. The captain can't stop himself from furrowing his brow. He can already sense the unrest spray amongst his team watching in silence. The one stepping forward looks like a 17 or 18-year-old girl. She is dressed in black and sunglasses like those around her, but her slender build is out of place. Not only that, her blonde hair strands out even more in contrast to her black outfit. Stands out, not strands out. The girl walks a few more steps forward and removes her sunglasses. The captain had intended to appraise the look in her eyes, but only gasped at her crystalline blue eyes. I always thought this was Aigis' point of view, but it turns out Aigis is a part of this. And not actually saying what's going on. He quickly regains himself and frowns at her, and I gotta scratch my ears so I can't talk for a bit.
So you're the one in charge?
Yes,
Are you shitting me?
there is no time to waste quarreling.
I actually made a good time to scratch my ear, so there's almost no need to announce it. The girl looks at him furiously, despite the armed team surrounding her. The unreality of all is what helps the captain get over his surprise. Her age and appearance are most likely meaningless. She's clearly no ordinary girl.
Are you not even gonna tell me who you're with?
I cannot.
So you expect me to hand over control of the scene to you without even telling me who the hell you are?
I believe orders to withdraw have already been issued.
Her calm, sweet voice only irritates him. The captain closes the distance with the girl, and while he stops short of grabbing her suit, he glares into those blue eyes from only inches away.
Lady, I don't know what kind of juice you have with the brass, but are you ready to be responsible for the deaths of those passengers?
Your protests are doing nothing to relieve the danger. Rescuing them as soon as possible is my...
Oh. I meant to... I thought she was already done and I was yawning. I know, it's a lot of excuses today, isn't it? That's what happens when you have to work a lot sometimes. Next week I'm taking a bit of a break though, so that might help out a little bit. The girl is completely unruffled as she speaks. It's like she's a machine or something. The captain thinks, more dumbfounded than angry.
Have faith in us. We too wish to save them.
For the first time, something like determination flickers within those crystalline eyes. After looking into them, the captain finds something akin to resolve and confidence in them. He steps back. Raising his right hand to his chest, he shows the girl his watch.
Right. But you got exactly 30 minutes and not a second more.
Understood.
After the girl nods, she gives instructions to prepare a stair card to the group she is leading. The captain's fist tightens nervously. I saw his first. Since there are few uses for a stair car, quietly moving it in place may make the hijackers think that a strike team is getting ready to storm the plane. But there was no hesitation in the girl's actions.
Well then, move in as naturally as possible while staying in their blind spots.
Eventually, a roofless stair car advances slowly towards the passenger plane.
The closest we can get without them noticing will be about 10 meters from the plane.
That will be more than enough.
More than enough? What's the point of half-assing it like that? The captain's annoyance begins to turn to curiosity. If she is replacing the SAT team, then she must have a plan beyond a simple brute force, but...
Now, let's begin.
The stair car stops. The girl gets out of the driver's seat. She walks slightly behind the vehicle, turns towards the passenger plane, and sits with one knee up.
What's she doing?
The captain brings up a pair of binoculars to see her behavior more closely. At first, he assumes she is going to use the stair car's movements as a decoy and send her team in from a different direction. Like humans, most vehicles have significant blind spots above and underneath. Yet that doesn't seem to be her plan. Does she plan to make her move while using the stair car as shelter? Is she possibly going to snipe them? The captain discards the possibility. It would be foolish to set up a sniper perch at a lower angle of elevation where the girl is now. While the captain mulls over the question, the girl makes an unexpected move. She appears lower, to lower her stance slightly one moment, and in the next she is no longer in sight. By the time the captain grasps that she is running, she has already reached the top of the stair car. Her center body launches like a cannonball from the top of the stairs.
What? She jumped?
Even the SAT members voice their surprise. The girl's leap arcs over a distinct distance of over 10 meters. It's clear beyond the abilities of a human being. Coming in the middle of a hijacking, the scene seems even more surreal. The girl lands on top of the aircraft and stands as if nothing unusual had happened. She looks at the aircraft beneath her and slowly turns her head to scan it from back to front. It reminds the captain of the movement of a security camera. He knows it should be impossible, but he wonders if she can see through the plane's ceiling. Oh boy, my eyes are ready to close, so this is going to end as soon as possible. It's good that I didn't go to do some digital devil saga. Eventually, the girl seems to convince of something and begins walking. When she reaches the boarding hatch at the front, she moved her right hand to her back. The captain notices that a special knife, choreographed from blade to hilt, is in her hand.
What's she gonna do with that knife?
The girl suddenly lowers her stance and slides down the side of the aircraft. Just as she's about to fall, she thrusts the knife into the jamb of the hatch and dangles from it.
That's just crazy.
She then uses her left hand to pull the handle and unlocks the latch with ease. Once the thick, airtight door juts out of the aircraft, the girl nimbly jumps into the plane. The captain is shocked by her dauntless methods. He begins to wonder if she intends to defuse the situation on her own. Jeez, it's really bad. The captain lowers the binoculars and faces the reality before him with his own eyes. Who in the world is she? Doubts he had dismissed rise within him again. The warning light goes on in the cramped cockpit. Two people there notice it at once. One of them is the captain, sitting in the pilot's seat. The other is the man holding a gun to the back of the captain's head. The light is labeled hatch open. Even an amateur can understand what it means. Had to get that yawn out. It was really starting to get on my nerve. The man suddenly tenses up and stands right at the passenger's side door. He prepares himself for someone to charge through it. But he quickly regains himself and turns the gun back onto the captain. The man casts irritated glances back and forth between the captain and the door for a while, but eventually approaches the door, his gun pointed at the captain. He cautiously cracks open the door and looks towards the passenger's seating. Just outside the cockpit is the first class section. The passengers were gathered in the economy class at the time of the hijacking. First class is empty. The man squints. To ward off observation or worse, snipers, the windows are coming into the darkened plane from the bright cockpit forces his eyes to adjust. But from the corner of his eyes, he sees a gleam of light shining that's unlike the regular lights. And within that light is a silhouette. Before he can react, the silhouetted figure closes the distance and grabs the edge of this door and opens it with tremendous force. Man, this would really be all great to watch if it made for some interesting story. I did it again by accident. 2 quick heavy shots are fired. The man collapses unconscious without a sound. The captain turns around in surprise to see the intruder, a blonde girl with an index finger to her lips to signal silence. She first lays the man on the ground and then removes the pistol in his hand. Or on closer inspection, it's only a model gun, supplemented with metal parts. The seam between the parts is in different places compared to a real gun. If taken apart, disassembled pieces would look nothing like a real pistol. The girl then takes handcuffs from a small pouch. Okay, this is a real problem with this game. Having such a long thing to read, even on my own, would just be an annoyance. I wish they had done a bit of a better. I understand it's an arcade game made on a budget, but they really could not have, done a little bit more. It gets a bit tiring to keep reading this over and over and over. Well, I know it's not the same time every time, but at least if it's a little bit interesting. But we know how the hijacking ends, so we're just getting some of the details on how Aigis defused it. But it's not that all interesting to read. It's a really boring and kind of trying to think of the word right now. It's kind of, it's not really original in a way if it was a novel. Handcuffs are a waist and fasten the man's arms to a seat leg near the window. Even if he wakes up, he will be unable to stand. Though the captain still looks as if he wishes to say something, the girl's eyes meet his and insists on silence as she leaves. The curtain dividing first class and economy class is closed. And I think the bigger problem is I have no idea when these things are going to end. Some of them just, Mitsuru's dragged on, and this is another one that drags on. At least with the Akihiko's, we had Mexican drug cartel stereotypes or something. The girl hides herself behind it and peeks through. There's a man in each of the aisles on the left and right. Neither of them seems to have noticed her. The passenger and cabin crew are crammed into seats in the back. Everybody's placement matches the readings from her heat sensors she picked up from above the plane. Both remaining hijackers are closer to the first class. The man closest to her is only a few steps away. She judges that he can easily be disabled before reacting if she moves quickly. They both carry pistols, but they are the same type as the downed hijacker. From what she can see, these two are mere model guns. The girl swiftly pushes aside the curtain and grabs the closer man's right wrist. The hijacker, caught off guard by the sudden appearance of such a slender girl, stops moving for a moment. In that moment, he surrenders any chance of victory he may have had. With a pain cry, he drops the pistol to the ground. The girl uses her grip on his right hand to put him on the ground, then smoothly pulls out another pair of handcuffs and blocks his arm to the passenger seat. The man thrashes about, but despite his struggles, he is no better than a worm writhing in the ground. The last hijacker finally recovers from his shock and aims his gun. The girl pulls up a button from the other man's sleeve and flicks it toward her opponent's face. And again, they're even giving us sound effects, but no visual. The button travels at immense speed, though it was only fired from her fingers. The man tries to shield his face, but he is too late, and groans in pain when the projectile impacts his forehead. The girl does not let the opportunity pass. She easily jumps over the 3-seat-wide center block of seats with one arm and grabs the man's right hand. There, she repeats the same procedure she used before. Their weapons are immediately seized while they are restrained on the floor. Passengers are only now grasping what's happening before their eyes. A murmuring choir rises.
Do not be alarmed. I have come to rescue you. Your safety has not been secured yet, so please stay calm and remain in your seats.
Passengers erupt in a cheer. There is a sporadic applause as well, but there's a slightly hysterical tinge to the reaction to the tension of the situation.
Excuse me. We were told someone requires medical assistance for their chronic heart illness. His name is...
Just as the girl approaches the center of the plane, she senses a male passenger stand up from his seat. He is extremely calm and quiet as he does so. The girl belatedly picks up on the incongruity. All of the other passengers are nervous. It is then that she felt something pressing up against the back of her head. She knows without looking that it is the muzzle of a gun. Nearby passengers' cries of relief suddenly turn into screams.
I am impressed with your judgment to stay hidden until an opportunity arose.
The girl is unperturbed as she continues to look straight ahead. The man stays silent and keeps the pistol pressed to her head. Now it's getting really, really, really bad, but I have to get to that bookmark. I am so tired right now. I'm ready to fall asleep, but I mean, I can't. I have to finish this at least. Okay, I haven't felt this tired since I've been playing, like, Super Paper Mario, but, I mean, the story is not even that interesting. Truthfully, I'm hearing about Aigis' escapades. I'd rather be watching them or fighting someone, really. She knows there is no danger of being shot, but she is not yet sure that he was the only one in hiding. Left with no choice, the girl accedes to his demands and moves forward. And after about 10 steps, another man stands up as expected.
Ah, and you too.
The man doesn't answer. He slowly approaches for the front. The girl is now sandwiched from the front and back. At that moment, footsteps sound from beyond the curtain leading into first class. The two culprits are both react at once, but it is too late. Over 10 men in black rush in at once from beyond the curtain. While the girl had drawn the hijacker's attention with the scuffle, the stair car had closed in. First, they pinned down the man standing in front. The narrow passage gives the man behind her a short reprieve, but it doesn't last too long. The moment he lowers the hand gripping the pistol in order to escape, the girl grabs his wrist. So focused was he on the men who burst into the scene that he forgot about the threat the girl posed. He's immediately tripped and restrained once he falls on his backside. The girl stands up and looks around. If there were any more hijackers inside the plane, this would be their last chance to make a stand. But no one rises from their feet. From their seat. I mean, I'm really bad right now. She glances toward the men in black and they nod back in acknowledgement. It seems the crisis has been averted. The girl carefully keeps her thoughts from appearing on her face and gives an air sigh of relief. Soon afterward, the sweeper team gives a report confirming that the aircraft is secure. The girl works with a cabin crew to arrange transport for the man with the heart illness before she steps out for a moment. She turns on the blue indicator light on the staircase that waves in circles towards the SAT's positions. It's a signal that the crisis is over.
She's done already?
On receiving the sign, the SAT team on standby starts talking amongst themselves.
It hasn't even been 5 minutes. There should have been at least 3 hijackers.
Really? That took me more than 5 minutes to read.
You know what they remind me of is those guys. Like Men in Black or something.
Captain, who are those people? Is that one even human?
The captain sighs with reluctance.
This is just a rumor. But I've heard that the higher-ups formed an unofficial security group in conjunction with a certain corporation. It's supposedly for cases that are a little strange. I hear they have some official standing with the police, too. Though it's all some private enterprise, so technically, there's no authority involved at all.
What? But this is Japan we're talking about.
A search and destroy unit that answers to no department and keeps no records. I've heard them called shadow operatives.
He turns on his own blue light as a sign of understanding and waves his left and right. Waves it left and right. The response light comes from up ahead. The girl then sees the captain spraying his arms in a shrug and smiles for the first time. She feels slightly bad for them. Her team may have shamed them, though they had done nothing wrong. I should apologize to them later. But then, in the corner of the girl's eye near the entrance of the luggage carts at the corner of the building, a figure catches her attention.
A girl?
Hey look, Labris. The girl seems to be about her age and is wearing a plain cape-like dress. The girl on the aircraft feels oddly uneasy at seeing the figure. To begin with, given the heightened security, the parking entrance should be strictly sealed, but the figure looks perfectly ordinary.
May I check on something?
The girl calls to the SAT captain over the radio. There appears to be some slight interference, necessitating an adjustment of the dial.
What is it?
If you look towards my left, in front of the luggage loading bay is...
But during the moment she looked away, the figure has disappeared.
She's not there. That can't be.
The girl looks around, but the figure is nowhere to be seen. Where could she have gone in this open space with nowhere to hide?
What's the matter?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was apparently seeing things.
The girl shuts off the radio. Who was that just now? Was I truly seeing things? With those questions in mind, the girl tries to remember the figure's appearance in detail. Only then does she realize the cause of her unease. The light blue dress the figure wore. It was very similar to the one she herself had once. It reminds her of those days when she did not yet have a heart. And... oh, I was really hoping bookmark. I really was hoping a bookmark would come. Oh, we're back in the plane! The girl puts those thoughts aside and returns to the aircraft. The mission does not end with taking the culprits into custody. In truth, along with defusing the situation, securing the safety of the one particular passenger was her highest priority. This fact was not revealed to the SAT team. The passenger was originally seated in first class, but would have been forced to move. The girl looks carefully through the restless passengers. It is not long before she finds the place that she seeks. Looking relieved, the girl walks toward the passenger in question.
Are you all right, Mitsuru-san?
Aigis, I didn't think you'd be the one to come.
The woman who answers has long, shining hair that would make an impression on anyone. Her refined appearance makes her stand out, over and above her calm position in her seat. But Aigis knows the woman well.
In fact, I was surprised to be called on to deal with something like this. The suspects made no demands. What were they after? At first, I thought I was summoned because you were their target, Mitsuru-san.
The higher-ups must have thought the same thing and panicked. Especially considering there's cargo on that plane they wouldn't want made public. Wait a second, that cargo...
Is something wrong?
This hijack seems strange now that I think about it. They made their move before takeoff, which is odd timing. And they forced the boarding announcement to be stopped. I thought maybe it was their way of trying to pull it off with a small team.
Are you saying that rather than a passenger, they were after that cargo? It's true that no one would consider the unloaded luggage during a hijacking.
I guess I need you to check on my things. Though if I'm right, it's already too late.
In response, Aigis instructs her team via radio to secure all luggage transport routes. Moreover, she requests a search to ensure that no cargo has been taken.
Even if you're right, why would they be interested in your belongings?
My usual cargo wouldn't be worth hijacking a plane over. But I was carrying something... sensitive this time. Normally, if they wanted it, they'd have to bypass a Corregio facility's security, or attack the vehicle transporting it. But by doing it this way, they can divert the entire country's attention with a few model guns.
Mitsuru smiles. Aigis can tell that she is impressed with their audacity, despite herself.
Mitsuru-san's cargo. Sensitive belongings for a vacation. I understand. Hijacking a plane out of a desperate desire for undergarments. This incident will surely go down in history.
Mitsuru's eyes bulge at the unexpected comment.
What? You're jumping to conclusions. It's not sensitive in that way. Besides, my underwear is in this bag and... that's it. Enough about underwear.
She forces a cough and steers the conversation back on track.
More accurately, my cargo contained items from Ergo Research. My trip to Kagoshima was partly vacation, but also to oversee their transferal to Yakushima.
The official name of Ergo Research is the Corregio Ergonomics Research Lab. Both Mitsuru and Aigis have many bitter memories associated with the name. A pall hangs in the air, but a radio transmission from one of Aigis' team cuts the moment short.
Aigis speaking.
Mitsuru looks at Aigis questioningly and she nods.
It's as you suspected. They found that one of the boxes scheduled for transport has gone missing.
I thought as much.
With a small sigh, Mitsuru rises from her seat.
We must get it back, Aigis. The rest of the team can finish up here. I need you to come with me.
Aigis inspects Mitsuru's face carefully.
Will you be joining the search as well?
Well, I am personally involved, so yes.
In other words, you will officially rejoin the unit and participate in this mission. To be more direct, is it accurate to say that you are abandoning your vacation?
Mitsuru sighs with some exhaustion. Aigis interrupts her silence as interprets... Oh man, it's bad. Her silence is approval.
Then I hereby transfer command authority to you, Mitsuru-san. Regulations state that the member with the lowest serial number is to take command. And since you are member number 1, the official leader of the Security Department Shadow Response Unit, also called the Shadow Operatives.
I had a feeling I wouldn't be able to enjoy this vacation for long.
Traveling with cargo from Ergo Research suggests that her vacation was neither relaxing nor cheerful.
But I can't allow anyone to be hurt again by the things we, the Corregio group, created. We'll get this cargo back at all costs. Mission or no mission, I'm making it a personal priority.
Understood.
Aigis answers loudly and snaps off the police salute that she finally gotten the hang of. Bookmark, please? I am Aigis. My official name is 7th Generation Anti-Shadow Suppression Weapon Aigis. As my name implies, I am not human. I am a humanoid weapon, a robot essentially. Though with the right clothes, a surprising number of people cannot tell the difference. Oh man, we're gonna get your backstory? We already know your backstory. I'm assuming people who play this game have played Persona 3. At least Persona 4. So even repeating stuff about the TV world is ridiculous. I was creating a research lab owned by one of the world's foremost conglomerates, the Corregio Group. I was made to exterminate a certain enemy. Come on, it's an hour already. They are called shadows, monsters born from people's repressed emotions granted dark light. Shadows can only be defeated by those with special power personas. One persona can be said to be the power to wield the shadow within. There are two sides of the same coin. The one cannot have a persona, they do not also have a heart. I was given a mind to artificially develop persona and a body and clothes that... Okay, no. We don't need to... Okay, but now I have a place where I belong. I can work and make sure of my powers. Shadow operatives, yada yada yada. Okay, yes, I know about the shadow operatives already. All of our members of persona have similar qualifications. It's interesting. Number of position is number 5. I'm not human. I'm true. Remember, please equipment more of my numbers is in the single digits. It's possible that there will be missions like they were. I must take them out of dangerous operations. In other words, I recognize as having the same life and dignity as humans. Because with Suicide and the others have such trust in me, I want to repay that trust with the results. There's another reason I'm working my hearts in this case. So after the hijacker was resolved, stolen cargo was identified. Its contents surprised me. Yeah, I know, I'm kind of speed reading right now, so it's not sounding even worse. The 5th generation anti-shadow suppression weapon. Unit named Lavris. She is one of my sister units. She was sealed over a decade ago for some reason and has been in storage with other artifacts since then. Lavris, a humanoid weapon just like me. Is it possible that she has a heart? If so, I want to save her before she is misused. This is a mission. But more than that, I feel that it is my duty. It is a duty I must carry out. Oh, finally! Holy crap. That went on longer than I expected. I am so tired right now. I'm sorry about this. Anyways, most of it was useless information anyways. It was just a setup, which was pretty boring for a hijacking. Oh, Aigis goes in, she sneaks in, she uses that, she does this, she does that. Yeah, narrating every single step of the way. It could have easily been summed up with Aigis goes in, stops the hijackers. Anyways, enough about that. I need to rest up before I go back to work, so I'll see you next time.